Hi there, Coach Hannah here, bringing you a 20-minute yoga flow. Let's begin in an easy seated position. Bringing our hands either face up for receiving or face down for grounding. And begin to close the eyes, lengthening through the spine. Imagining you have a string from the top of your head pulling yourself up. As you begin to breathe and sink down into your breath, slowing down your inhales and exhales. Expanding into the rib cage in every direction when you fill up the lungs with oxygen. Relaxing the space between your eyes, unclenching the jaw, relaxing all the muscles of the face and the shoulders away from the ears. We'll take a nice big breath. Inhale, scooping those arms up, and exhale, fold, hinge at the hips, let it go. Two more, nice big inhale, sweeping those arms up. And exhale, release, let it go. One more nice big inhale, bringing those arms all the way up, scooping that good energy together. Taking the palms down through the third eye. Holding them hands to heart center, bowing the chin to the chest, feeling a stretch in the back of the neck. Maybe taking a couple easy neck rolls here. You can go half neck rolls left to right or take circles in the full range of motion, going both directions. On your next circle, inhale, bring those arms all the way up, gaze to the sky. And we'll exhale, twist, taking that left hand across the body to the right knee. Elongating through the spine, creating space through the front of the body as you gaze over that right shoulder. Nice big inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale, full cactus, opening the chest and the lats. And nice big inhale, bring it up. As we exhale, right hand reaches across the body to the left knee, opening up towards that left side. One more nice big inhale, scooping that good energy up, and exhale, find the cactus. Extend those arms out, palms face up, opening through the chest, creating lots of space in the front of the body. And as we exhale, we're going to round those shoulders. Inhale, roll and open. Exhale, round. One more nice big inhale as we roll, open, exhale, plant that right palm, extend that left arm up and over. Nice big inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, switch, left palm plants, right arm reaches up and over. And take a nice big inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale, fold, keeping the sits bones grounded, walking those fingertips out in front of you. Actively pressing the fingers into the ground as you extend that stretch all the way up into the shoulders. We can walk the fingers over to the left. Feeling a stretch here in the right hand side of the rib cage. And we'll take it across to the right. Feeling that stretch in the opposite side of the rib cage. Always remembering to come back to the breath as we walk ourselves forward. You should feel like you walked a little bit farther out. Nice easy roll all the way up, arms rise. And we're going to exhale, fold at those hips, coming into a quadruped position here. Our fingers are going to spread nice and wide to create a good solid foundation. Elbows, wrists, and shoulders are going to be stacked. Hips and knees are stacked. Knees placed under you, hip distance apart. As we find a few cat-cows here, one vertebrae at a time, starts to lower to the ground and lift to the sky, starting at the sacrum. Trying to make this movement nice and slow as you roll down through each individual vertebrae. And coming back to a neutral position, extending the left leg out and the right arm extended in front of you. Exhale, we're going to crunch underneath the body, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch, let it go. One more nice big inhale. And as you flip that palm outward, you can bend that left leg. Option here is to reach that arm back. If you have a bind in your practice today and you'd like to take that bind, feel free to do so. The point of this pose is really to open the chest and the shoulders. And you don't have to have a bind in order to do that. If you do have a bind, kick that foot up into the hands. Wherever you are, release that right palm back to the floor. And we're going to extend that left leg out to the side, planting that foot flat on the ground. Tuck those right toes and then gently start to rock front to back as you find that easy adductor rock. Beautiful. Untucking those toes, drawing the feet together, knees nice and wide. As you sink those hips back for a child's pose, walking the hands out in front of you. Resting the forehead on the mat, releasing the breath, let it go. Walk it back up, planting those palms, again, fingers spread wide to protect the wrists. We're going to extend those right legs and those left arms. Big inhale, exhale, crunch. Two more, inhale, reach, crunch. Last one. And reach, extend, flip that palm, bend that leg, reach back if you would like to open up. Or if you have a bind, feel free to take that bind. Sometimes we might be a little uneven. One side might feel stronger or more flexible than the other side. And some days might feel a little bit more flexible or strong than others. That's okay. Releasing that left palm back to the ground and extending that right leg out, foot plants. We're going to tuck those left toes and sink it back, finding that adductor stretch. They do call it a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect, right? Because every day is just that, a practice. Honoring ourselves and our bodies in the moment that we are in, right here, right now. And when you're ready, draw that right leg back in, tuck those toes, send those hips up high for our first downward facing dog. We did come from a quadruped, so this is going to feel a little awkward, a little short. It's okay. Just breathe into it. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe pedal out those feet, bending and straightening opposite legs. And nice and slow, start to roll yourself up. Walk those hands out a little bit farther in front of you. So we're in a high plank position. Shift the weight forward. Always an option in our chaturangas to drop down to the knees or stay on the toes. Keeping those elbows drawn in, we're going to lead with the chest as we lower on down. All the way. Slowly inhale, lift into a little baby cobra. Most of the body is still on the ground. As you slowly release, if you feel ready to fully press up into a full cobra, you can take that full cobra. Tuck those toes, send those hips up high for that downward facing dog. Again, you can pedal out the feet. This time we're in our full length downward facing dog, so it should feel pretty good. And slowly draw those heels to the ground. Shift the weight to the left foot as you draw those right toes high. Big inhale, bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. You can roll the ankle, wiggle the toes. And take a nice big inhale as you square out those hips. Exhale, knee towards the nose. Inhale, lift. And one more exhale as you replace that right hand with the right foot, reaching that right arm up. And behind you, opening up the chest and the upper back. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round, let it go. One more, inhale, lift. As we exhale, we're going to plant that right palm inside that right leg and slowly drop that back knee down, untucking the toes. For our lizard pose here, stretching on the hips. So you got a couple options. You can stay right here nice and tall. You can start to indulge by pressing that right knee out away from you. You can scoop that back hand back, reaching for that foot. You can drop down onto the forearms. You can do really any combination of those things, whatever feels good, just really listening to your body here. Nice and slow, we're going to press ourselves back up. Make sure that that foot is planted. Knee is stacked right over top of the ankle. We're going to inhale those arms up, find that low lunge. Here we want to make sure our rib cage is drawn in and our hips are scooped under. We don't want to be hyperextended, but we want to be nice and strong in that core. And then we want to shift the weight forward again. We want that knee stacked over top of the ankle. Arms rise. Breathe. You can interlace your fingers and press those palms to the sky. And exhale, pressing those hips back as you straighten through that right leg. You can frame that foot. I like to interlace my fingers here and pull the shoulders down and away. This creates a nice long length in the front of the body. And then you can fold yourself forward. Now, the point of this pose is not to touch our forehead to our knee, but it is to get a really good hamstring stretch. So if you end up pulling your shoulders down and it shortens your range of motion and you can't go, farther, you can't go as far as you could before, that's okay because you're more than likely getting a better stretch here. And a nice big inhale, bring it in, arms rise. Exhale as we frame that right foot, tucking those left toes, lifting up through that back left knee. Replacing that right foot with that right hand. We're going to send those right toes up. And find that downward facing dog. Slow roll all the way up through the heels. Find that high plank position. Keep those elbows drawn in. Again, there's always an option to drop to the knees for your chaturanga, or you can shift your weight forward, slow, lower. Bring it all the way up to that cobra. From here, we're going to tuck those toes and those hips up high, pedal the feet. Shift the weight to that right-hand side, left toes rise, bend the knees, stack the hips, open them up, wiggle the toes, roll the ankle both directions. And we'll square out those hips. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring it under. One more inhale. This time as we exhale, replacing that left hand with that left foot. Left arm reaches up nice and high. Opening the chest, the upper back. Exhale, round, bring it down. There's a little lizard over here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, let it go. One more time, inhale, lift. And we're going to exhale, plant that left palm inside that left foot, drop that back knee down and untuck those toes. For our lizard pose, I'm staring at a little lizard in lizard pose. How funny is that? Again, you can find your variation of this lizard pose. You can grab your little tail. You can drop those forearms down. You can drop down and grab a tail. You don't have to do any of those things. You can just stay right up. Taking a few breaths here in this pose. Always remembering to come back to your breath. Wherever you are, we're going to slowly plant those palms, stack that knee over that ankle, and inhale, lift arms up. Keeping those rib cages drawn in, hips tucked under, sink that weight forward. For that Anjaneyasana, again, you can interlace those fingers, press the palms to the sky. And exhale, sink it back into the hips. Stretch that hamstring. Again, I like to interlace my hands here. This little guy's just watching me. Nice big inhale, bring it up. And exhale, we're gonna frame that foot, tuck those back toes. Inhale, lift. Shifting the weight forward to that front left leg. We're gonna step that right foot out to the outer side of the mat. Both feet turn, toes 45-degree angle out. Hips sink low for that Malasana, creating lots of space in the chest. Lifting from the crown of the head. Palms come together, using the elbows to press the knees away from the body. Nice and slow. Inhale those arms up, engage through the core. Exhale, stand all the way up. Toes turn forward. Release those hands down to the sides, close the eyes, and just breathe in that Tadasana, or this mountain pose here. Nice big inhale, sweep those arms up. We're gonna take a swan dive as we keep the chin lifted, hinge at the hips, slight bend in the knees. Let it go. Taking opposite elbows here and letting yourself hang. Shake your head, yes. Saying yes to all the things that serve us. Shaking our heads no. Saying no to all the things that don't. Nice big inhale, find ourselves in a half lift. As we exhale, fold, let it go. Plant those palms. We're going to step the feet back, one foot followed by the other. It's for our high plank. Shift the weight forward for one more chaturanga. Inhale, bring it up. Roll up through those toes and those hips up high. Shift the weight to the left-hand side, right toes rise. And exhale, draw that leg underneath the body. Right ankle toward the left wrist for a pigeon pose here. Tenting through those fingertips, creating lots of space in the chest. Now in this pigeon pose, your range of motion is going to determine how far out your leg can be. So if your leg is closer to your body and you are more on the floor, such as this, you want to take the focus on that left hip and shift it down towards the mat. So even if that means that right hip comes off the floor, that's okay. And if you're feeling pretty comfortable in that, you can start to walk that right leg or that right shin out so it's more parallel with the front of the mat. And again, keep in mind that the pigeon pose is a half split prep. Well, it's a splits prep. So the focus is getting the hips square with the floor so that you can bring that right leg out in front of you eventually. If you've got a full split, feel free to take it. From here, let's plant those palms, tuck those toes, send it back for that downward facing dog. Inhale, left toes rise. We're going to exhale, bring that leg underneath the body, drop it down, untuck those toes. Again, finding what part of this pose is comfortable for you, what variation of this pose is comfortable for you. Creating space in the front of the chest. And we're going to shift the weight to that left side as we sweep that right leg out in front of us. Plant that right foot. Left foot plants beside it. Hip distance. Hands to the knees. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back for these seated cat-cows. Inhale, lift. One more time, round the back, let it go. From here, release those hands and slowly start to lower into a 45-degree angle. We can start to lift the feet up off the floor for this Navasana boat pose variation. You can bring the fingers to the floor to support. You can keep the legs bent. You can straighten the legs. You can take any variation of this pose that you would like to take for a few breaths. And slowly draw those knees in towards the chest as you rock back onto the mat. Give yourself a big hug, rock those knees in, going both directions. And we'll extend that right leg out, left knee into the chest, and pull it across the body with that right hand. Extending the left arm out, take your gaze over at that left side. This is a great pose if you want to just do this in the morning when you wake up or in bed before you go to sleep. This really stretches out the sciatica, low back. And bring it back to center. Peace fingers to those big toes or hands to the outside of the feet. Find that little happy baby. And if you want to start to straighten the legs for that inverted straddle. From here, release that left leg down. Right knee into the chest. Pull it across the body. Right arm out, extending that gaze over that right hand. And nice and slowly coming back to center. Give yourself one big hug. Bring the forehead to the knees. Big squeeze like a little ball. And extend, relax into that final resting pose of Shavasana. Feel free to pause this video and take a little bit longer of a Shavasana, however long feels good. And come back to me when you're ready to break this Shavasana, this resting pose. By wiggling your fingers, rolling the wrists and the ankles, and bringing life back into the body. Take one big inhale, bring those arms high above the head for one big stretch from the fingers to the toes. And exhale, release, melting into the mat, letting it go. One at a time, bringing the knees into the chest as you roll to the left or right side, whatever's calling to you today. Taking one final moment here, pausing for just yourself. And when you feel ready, you can start to press yourself up into an easy seated position. Or a half lotus, whatever you like. And we're just going to take 3 breaths to ground us and bring us back to reality. And seal up our practice. Big inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, let it go. 2 more. Nice big inhale, sweep. Exhale, let it go. 1 more nice big inhale. Bring those arms all the way up, scooping all that good energy, palms together. Exhale as you take those thumbs to the third eye. Taking a moment here to honor the power of our thoughts. Exhaling, taking those thumbs to our chins. Taking a moment here to honor the power of our words. And finally, hinging at the hips, taking our hands to heart center. Taking one final moment here to honor the power of our actions, of our energies, and our beings. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. My name is Coach Hannah, and I'll send you off with lots of love, light, and positivity. Thanks so much for practicing with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.